Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations, much love and respect to you, Akim, out there pushing this word out in truth and sincerity. Now, this is going to be based upon a video that I've seen and sparked me to do a lesson. And the video that I saw was entitled, "Why Wasn't Ethiopia Colonized?" So I'm going to go into a deeper meaning and reason for why Ethiopia was not colonized, because they ended up defeating the Italians, okay? Because basically Esau took over the whole of Africa except for Ethiopia, pretty much, all right? And that's why these so-called Africans, they're in a very bad state right now. They're all in poverty. They're not making any money off of the natural resources. It all goes back to the Edomites, okay? Because they're the ones sucking up the natural resources and destabilizing their particular countries, But then they'll point the finger at certain countries. Oh, why are you not on the level? And rate, because they're the devil, okay? That's what they're here for. Oh, matter of fact, let's get John 10 and 10. Let's get John 10 and verse 10. This is John 10 and 10. It says, "The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy." And this is what these Edomites came to do. And they've done this to all these other nations. All right. "I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly." And the nations that they didn't fully get a grasp on, right? Because they still have control, all right? They still have control, okay, over Ethiopia and these different places, based on the fact that they have the power of the earth, okay? If they have the power of the earth, guess what? They have to go to them. It's nothing for them to sanction Ethiopia. If they can sanction another large power like Russia, which is another Edomite nation, then what can they do to Ethiopia and these smaller countries like Lebanon and or Iran, right? What can they do to them, So let's get Job 9 and 24. Because at the end of the day, they are still under the power of Esau, Edom. It's just that Esau didn't have the same amount of grip on Ethiopia as they had on the rest of Africa. It says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Okay, so the Lord, the Heavenly Father, gave the earth into the hands of the wicked. He's the one who gave them the power. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Okay, so the fact that Ethiopia has a plot of land, and I'm going to show you here. I'm going to play this video and show you they have a particular part of land that has not been fully colonized by these Edomites. Okay, so, and there's a reason for that, and that reason goes back to prophecy. Okay,
or at one point either colonized or the colonizer. It seems quite a mystery how some regions remained untouched by this crucial era of the past, and it's especially surprising to find that there were actually some areas in Africa that remained untouched by the Portuguese, British, Spanish, French, Belgian, and Italian colonial powers who swarms the continent with simultaneous goals of expanding their empires. Of the few and far between modern-day states that managed to slip out of the imperial intruder's grasp, though, Ethiopia stands as one of the most impressive.
You saw that? Esau has you talking about going back to Africa and all this nonsense, right? You Kemet people. Well, look at this. Africa is Edom, okay? Esau then took over all of that. Okay, he controls all of that. All right. Now let me read something real quick. Okay. This is Habakkuk 2. In verse 4, it says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him," speaking about these Edomites, But the just shall live by faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man. He's very arrogant and proud. Okay, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death. See, he doesn't keep at home. He enlargeth his desire as hell. You see all the land that they took over, and they're not gonna stop. Okay, Esau's not gonna. He can go 50 years down the line. They won't say, okay, I'm satisfied. Esau will never stop. Okay, that's why the Lord is gonna take them out, and they don't have 50 years. Okay, the Lord is gonna take them out. Which, listen, the Lord could come back in the next year, next 2 years. That's how close we are. Okay, that's how close we are. Okay, I don't know the exact date. Don't ask me, when do you think the Lord's coming back? When's the time limit? Don't ask me that. But based upon the signs that we're seeing, it's very, very close. Okay, we only have a couple more prophecies left, and could not be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? And that's all these Edomites do. They steal from these other nations. Like I said, they've been sucking up the natural resources of those nations, and they still are doing it. Okay? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And that's why every other nation is a third world country, pretty much, except for these Edomite nations. All right, there's a reason for that. Okay, because they done stole the natural resources from all these. It doesn't make sense for all these different let's look up third world. Oh no, let's deal with first world countries. You know, you have a sprinkle of maybe like one or two other countries they try to say is first world, which is whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now this is and I want the list. I want the full list. I want the full list. NATO member state, Cold War. Okay, top 10 first world countries in terms of gross national income. No, I want all of the first world countries. But as you can see here, you got Luxembourg, you got Norway, you got United States, you got Ireland, you got Bermuda, you got overseas. See, notice it has in brackets overseas territory of the UK. Okay, you got Iceland, you got Denmark, you got San Marino, you got Canada, you got Switzerland, all Edomite controlled and run countries. Okay, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Okay, you see that? And when you go down the line, you're gonna see more Edomite countries, and then you got one country that sticks out, which is Japan. Okay, but everything else is all Edomite countries, and there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. Okay, and when you look deep enough, you'll find out that Esau really controls Japan too. All right, and China. Talking about China. First of all, that's a colony of Great Britain. Great Britain control is the one that set up that whole communist thing. All right. But anyways, so clearly you see that Esau has control of the earth. Now let's continue.
Managed to slip out of the imperial intruder's grasp, though. Ethiopia stands as one of the most impressive. This video is brought to you by Morning Brew, a free daily newsletter from Monday to Sunday. We live in a world where good information is needed, and we can keep up to date with the latest news from the beginning of the day. In the past, the first thing I did in the morning was aimlessly scroll through social media, being unproductive and losing the most.
Let's go.
Exploration campaigns and trade posts along the coast. Eventually, each empire.
I'd like to start an online business, please.
First off, you'll need to have written your own book. You'll need a couple of years in advertising. You'll need an
empire also realized.
Yeah, he said the trade post along the coast. What was the main trade that they were doing over there? Slavery. Okay, they were taking you Israelites from the west coast of Africa and shipping you around mainly to the Western Hemisphere, but also in different regions around the earth as well. Okay.
That they would likely be competing with their neighboring European powers, and therefore needed to make some claims to the lands they wished to utilize. This prompted a period generally referred to as the Scramble for Africa. When the scramble began, Europeans had already reached the continent, driven by financial and political reasons. The European leaders knew that it would only be a matter of time before war would break out between them if some type of deal was not made as to who would control which parts of the continent. 13 European nations met with each other and the United States for the Berlin Conference. The conference began on November 15, 1884, and didn't end until February 26, 1885, and resulted in the subsequent Berlin Act. The region of modern-day Congo that had already been occupied by the Belgians was confirmed to be under Belgian possession. Areas of free trade for all was set up around the Niger and Congo rivers and the Congo Basin and Lake Malawi, and it was agreed that any European entity who took land along the African coast would have to inform the other powers of this action.
Salakia. I wanted to say something dealing with Belgium. Esau did a lot of wickedness everywhere and a lot of torture and destruction everywhere. But King Leopold, it's well documented the wickedness that devil did over there, man. Okay, there's even a picture where a man, which is most likely an Israelite, because most of those people on the west coast of Africa are Israelites, and that's why they went through what they went through. He was holding the hands of his little daughter, because the damn Belgians, the damn demons, and they try to talk like they were just, you're just, looking to expand and create a better world. And no, they were looking to destroy, to kill and to destroy and to oppress. All right? You see? Mutilate children and women and things like that. This is what these devils were doing on their conquests, man. Okay? So, there's a picture of him holding his daughter's hands in his hand, because them damn devils chopped it off for some reason, dealing with, maybe she didn't, I believe she didn't hit a quota, dealing with the rubber or whatever the case may be, because they were getting a lot of rubber out of Congo. You know what I'm saying? So these devils got to have a lot to pay for, man. These devils are gonna pay, and they're gonna pay in a blood, okay, in slavery. Trust me, the Lord is gonna set it up, man. Okay, they put preaching violence. No, this is all dealing with the kingdom of heaven. Okay, this is all dealing when Yahweh Shai comes back and the kingdom of heaven is established. All right, because you devils are going to be the ones building up the kingdom of heaven along with these other nations. But you devils are going to be at the bottom of the bottom. You're never going to rise up again. Okay, they could do all this around the earth, but then when we say what's going to happen in the kingdom of heaven, they say it's hate. Well, hold on. Let's get Isaiah 14. Let's get Isaiah the 14th chapter. Because we're not saying anything that the Bible doesn't say. Okay, this is Isaiah 14 and verse 1. All right, matter of fact, start at verse 1. It says, "For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, the Israelites, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the stranger shall be joined with them. And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Jacob shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow." Oh, what am I doing, man? I'm going all fast. Excuse me, Salakia. All right. It says, "And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were." And were we not captives under you Edomites? We're going to take you captive, okay? "And they shall rule over their oppressors," man. So see, when we read that, they say, that's hate. No, that's not hate. If that's hate, then the Bible's dealing with hate, okay? Which technically it is hate, okay? Because the scriptures say that love the good and hate the evil. So technically it is hate. Let's get Revelations 13 and verse 9. Which Trudeau is trying to crack down on hate speech. These devils have some nerve, man. all of a sudden they're the epitome of peace and not harming people's feelings and all these different things, when they have been the main agent of hate and destruction and murder of other people, man. This is Revelations 13:10. It says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Plain and simple. So who are the saints? The Israelites. You can read Psalms 148. It clearly tells you that the saints are Israelites. When you see something that says Mother Teresa's a saint, or all these different Edomites are saints, they're not saints. Okay, you have to be an Israelite to be a saint. Okay, this is Psalms 148 in verse this is Psalms 148 in verse 14. It says, he exalteth the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him, praise ye Yahweh. Okay, so that is who who the saints are. Okay, it's the children of Israel. All right, so listen, man, the scriptures speak about you drinking down the cup. Okay, when you read Jeremiah the 49th chapter, you have to drink the cup that you issued to the Israelites. Okay, you're gonna drink it all the way down. All this stuff you're hearing about that they were doing, and he's not going into detail of what they were doing, but know that they were doing a lot of wickedness, a lot of oppression, a lot of killing, a lot of straight brutality. Okay, that's what they were doing. All right, he's speaking about it like, oh, they went over here, they're just taking over. You know, they got the music playing in the background, like if they were just, like if they just went over there, they were just passing out, biscuits and tea and all these different things. No, they were going around there putting people to death and oppressing people in their own land. The scriptures speak about they oppress a man, even a man in his heritage. Wait, hold on, let's get that. Let's get that, man. This is Micah 2. Watch this. This is Micah 2 and verse 1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. Right? And that's what these devils are doing. You see those devils in that meeting? They on their beds while they were sleeping at night, they were devising evil upon the continent of Africa. Okay? When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand, because the Lord has given the power to their hand for a particular time. And what happens? They've done nothing but evil and wickedness with that power. And they covet fields. And are they not coveting fields right there? Does those places belong to them? No. They're going to steal it. Okay? And they covet fields and take them by violence. And the guy has the music playing in the background, like they were going over there to make treaties and dance and sing with the people. No, they were going over there to destroy, okay, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage, man. And that's what these devils have done. That's what these devils have done, and we're seeing it. This is the proof what we're speaking about right here, okay. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for the time is evil. See, so the Lord is plotting against you. Okay, so listen, go try to arrest the Most High. All right. Now this is let's continue with this, because we have to get to the point, and the fact that Ethiopia was not conquered, was not colonized.
Now, the door was open for any and all of these imperial powers to start taking over the continent. Italy was one of these empires, and quickly set its sights on Ethiopia after beginning to establish what would become its Eritrean colony. Moving to expand this colony more, the Italians sent their Special Corps of Africa into the port town of Massawa, was at the time under the authority of the Ethiopian Empire in 1887. The latter initially sent a warning to the Italian officials that they were in violation of a treaty that had been signed between Ethiopia, known then as Abyssinia, Britain, and Egypt, but the warning was not heeded. Instead, Italy decided to double down and began to prepare for a battle at the Sahati fortification with 167 Italian troops alongside 1,000 locals.
We are here at the Frida Kahlo immersive biography. I highly recommend it.
The town's governor, Ras Alula Ngida, was not even slightly tolerant of this move and decided.
See, that's why these Rastafarians say, yo, Ras this, Ras that. You so-called, you Benjamites, and you Rastafarians in general, you're bugged out of your mind. Those are the most confused group of people on the earth. First of all, Ethiopia has nothing to do with the Heavenly Father. The Lord is not dealing with Ethiopians, because why? Ethiopians are the Cushites. Okay, Cush is not the people of the Most High. The people of the Most High are the Israelites, which you yourself are Israelites. Okay, but you're worshiping the heathens. That's why I can't even be listening to reggae no more. You know, I love reggae, man, because I'm a Benjamite, so I deal with reggae, but I can't listen to all the reggae no more because it's all this Selassie nonsense that they put in the reggae, man. He's not the Most High. That's idolatry. He's not he's not the son of the Most High either. That's idolatry. Okay? He's nothing but a heathen that was ruling in Ethiopia. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. And the reason why they were not conquered, because they praised them because they weren't conquered. The reason why they were not conquered is because the Most High didn't allow them to be colonized, man, for his purpose, man. And we're going to get into that, man. Okay, we're going to get into that. I'm not even going to play all this video, man. I'm just going to play. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me skip forward, man. I'm going to play all this stuff, man. Get to the point, man.
The Italians at the Battle of Adwa. Following this decisive clash, the Treaty of Addis Ababa was signed in October of 1896 and forced the Italians to recognize Ethiopian sovereignty. The aftermath of these events and the impressive nature in which Ethiopia had proven itself as an independent nation strengthened its ties with Russia and prompted both Britain and France to spark friendlier relations. This played a significant role in the safety of Ethiopia's sovereignty and went far in deterring other European imperial powers from making any moves against the Free State. Still, Italy was not quite done. In 1935, the Second Italo-Ethiopian War broke out after Italy decided to invade Ethiopia yet again. This time, though, Italy was actually successful to a certain extent. Ethiopia was annexed and united with the surrounding Italian possessions of Somaliland and Eritrea to create Italian East Africa, which lasted until the Italians switched sides in the Second World War and eventually signed a treaty in 1947 that acknowledged Ethiopia's independence and required Italy to pay $25 million in reparations. So, Ethiopia was never colonized, in part due to the underestimation of the entire continent's possibilities by Europe, partially because of the Berlin Conference and the limitations it put on other empires in the region, but largely due to the resilience and determination of the locals. This region was more developed than other African territories, and it had more contact with Muslim and European kingdoms throughout the centuries, while many other African tribes in other regions were isolated.
Which really is not because they were so. It had nothing to do with that. It really had to do with the fact that the Most High is the one that was working with them to win against the Italians with that. Okay, now if you look into history, I'm sure if you really were to go back there, you would be able to find a lot of so-called UFO sightings. A lot of those chariots would have been found there. Why? Because the chariots sometimes they help people in war. Like even the Edomites, I believe it was Alexander, they were helping him do certain things. Why? Because it's for the sake of prophecy. It's not because Alexander was righteous. It's not because the Ethiopians are righteous. It has nothing to do with that. It's so the Most High can fulfill the prophecies that he has had written down by his holy prophets, man. That's all. That's the only reason. Okay? It's just like even in the Vietnamese war, they said that there was a lot of UFO sightings. It's not because the Vietnamese were righteous. It's because that's not part of what the Most High wanted to happen. That's why he put an end to it, man, for whatever reason. Now, we're going to get into this in a minute, but I just want to get what he says around the end. He says something that's important.
Another factor that contributed to this outcome is Italy. Now, beyond the jokes that have been made about the Italian armies in some contexts, at the end of the 19th century, Italy was a recently unified country, and its experience in colonialism was pale compared to that of Great Britain or France. We cannot know what would have happened if one of these two countries had been more captivated by Ethiopian territory, but it is a factor that we must take into account. The Ethiopian nationalism and Menelik's skillful unification and use of European weaponry against the Europeans were pillars in the fight for freedom of the Ethiopians. Without those factors, history likely would have gone down a very different path. We want to thank those who support us on Patreon. Your pledge is very important and it helps us create more videos about our interesting history. We want to thank you too for
No, well, he said something before. Okay, it might have came up before, but anyways, he made a mention. He said, and what happened was Ethiopia strengthened the fact that they were independent, allowed them to strengthen their ties with Russia. That's what he said. Okay, now we're gonna get Ezekiel the 38th chapter. Okay, and that's the point where I really wanted to get at the end, but it must have came up before. Okay, this is Ezekiel 38 in verse 1. It says, "And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against it, and say, Thus saith the Lord power, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, and the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal," which Gog is where Russia is today. That's speaking about the Russians. Okay? The Lord is against the Russians too, but he's using the Russians for his prophecy purposes, man. They see chariots over there in Russia as well. In Ukraine, there was recently a fleet of chariots, man. Okay? And I will turn thee back and put hooks in into thy jaws. And that's what he's doing now, meaning what? They're going to get back into that old USSR mindset state, which that's why NATO was created in the first place, was to combat the Russian forces, man. NATO and the EU. You see what I'm saying? Because Russia was getting very strong, and they were very strong-minded. Okay, so now they're getting back to that mindset, okay, for war and things like that. "And I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them." And the fact that they did that thing to that Nord Stream, that probably will add on to the tension. That probably won't help. Okay, all of them clothed with all sort of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, you see, so guess what? He's coming, and what is he doing? He's bringing forth a company with him. Persia, which is Iran, and this is why there's constantly talks about them trying to get to Iran, but they can't get to Iran. Why? Because Russia is backing Iran. Ethiopia. All right, so this is why Ethiopia was never conquered. This is the real reason, because they have to play, they have a part to play in prophecy dealing with Russia. Okay, you see, and Libya with them, and Libya is going to be part of that as well. Which Libya is Ishmael. So even though they were colonized by Italy, Ishmael doesn't care. Ishmael's a wild man. Ishmael does what he wants to do. Okay, Ishmael's gonna do what he feels like doing. All right. Ishmael's known as a wild man. But guess what? You know what? Ishmael's going to be tamed when we get into power. Because Ishmael ain't going to be doing what he wants to do when we get into power. Okay, I guarantee it. They're going to calm their ass down. Okay? And Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, and the house of Togarmah of the north quarters. Okay? And Gomer, I believe that's Turkey. And all his bands and many people with thee. Okay? So you see that the Lord is gathering these people and preparing them to come together against Babylon the Great. Be thou prepared and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Okay, so clearly he's being a guard unto these people, and they're gonna go with him to fight against America. So this is why Ethiopia was never conquered. Okay, all right, because those other African nations, they're not gonna be doing shit. They're not gonna be doing too much. All right, in the terms of the World War III and things like that, they're conquered. They're colonized. The Esau done sucked the resources dry out of those places, man. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So this is Habakkuk 2 in verse 1. It says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision, make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. This is the only book of prophecies. This is the book where all the prophecies are going to come to pass, because these are the prophecies of the Heavenly Father, the power of the universe, man. Okay? Let's end it off on Hebrews, the 6th chapter and the 17th verse. It says, matter of fact, this is Hebrews 6, in verse 15. It says, and so after he had patiently endured, he obtained the promise. For men verily swear by the greater, and an oath for confirmation is to them an end of all strife, wherein the Most High, willing more abundantly to shew unto the heirs of promise the immutability of counsel. Excuse me, Salakia. Okay. It says, wherein the Most High, willing more abundantly to shew unto the heirs of promise the immutability of his counsel, confirmed it by an oath, that by two immutable things, in which it was impossible for the Most High to lie, we might have a strong consolation, who have fled refuge to lay hold upon the hope set before us. Okay, so it's impossible for the Heavenly Father to lie. Okay, so everything that is written in this book is going to come to pass. All right, and it says that he's bound only by his word. Okay, so anyways, with that, Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. I'll give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Shalom. Until the next video.